And we're not on television. Phil would throw it away.
All right, Danny, you down.
That's a long time ago.
I think you have queen.
Hellmuth calls.
Not only does he call, but he tells Daniel basically where he's at. That he's got a weak ace.
River's a 7 of clubs.
Phil gave away his hand. Now he checks. He's already told Daniel that he's got aces.
No, stop at 10. Stop at 10.
Daniel is just about as comfortable as he can be.
Yeah.
Just figuring out what the right amount to bet here is. What would Phil possibly call?
$40,000. Now the pot's over 125 grand.
Phil did not want to see that. Daniel bluffing all the way in this hand. I think Phil realizes that Daniel would not bet if he had jacks or queens right now. So Daniel's got him.
Hellmuth calls.
Sees the bad news.
Yep. And Negrano takes a big bite of the Phil Hellmuth's wallet. He rakes in $165,000.
A little silly in that hand, and we might have ignition here.
Yeah.
Get some music.
Good guy, re-raised me. I didn't think he'd re-raise me with ace 10. And 10 couldn't put him on that hand. He re-raised me. I knew this week before the flop. That's all I knew. What? Destroyed me so far. These. Good hand, Daniel. Good betting.
Four left, and how great is this lineup?
Actually,
2010 World Series of Poker champion, the legends of the game, and the guy who's the biggest winner in the history of the internet. Yeah, banging heads. And the best heads-up player agreed by, I think, all humans. I mean, I was taking up on it, yeah. Four-handed, this should look like pocket aces. It looks like a good hand, doesn't it? Sure looks like a hand where he's trapping here. And he's gonna see like
trapped here. Now I'm starting to wonder.
Hey, that's the move again! Yes. That's the move! Right.
Maybe. It's just one of those weird hands. I was like, I need to trap him.
I want to take a look.
No, I don't blame you. Might as well take a look.
I'm only at 67%.
He's waving like a lunatic. He's so good. Now he's gonna check call or check. Yeah.
6 check.
He did dark.
I check again.
King Queen still beats him. Check. Now. Oh, I thought he had a flush draw. No, Negrano's.
Can't help it. I have to bet some.
Oh, it's all over a bit.
5 bet 20,000.
Daniel plays the board, but so do a lot of Jungle has reached out and stolen these kind of pots. Will Daniel reach out and steal it? Wow. He knows that he can't have an ace of this. Boy, this is so sick. The gut feel is to insta-fold, because it's bluff or ace. There's only those two choices, really. Bluff or maybe ace. That's why you can check. The full house! Those pots you can check and call. Wow. Oh, he's tilted.
We had like 16 full houses. 9 full of pigs. Full of pigs.
Yeah.
Just bad luck, is what they say. That's the hash.
Well, maybe you outplayed me, but I'm gonna tell you one thing. One of these times it's gonna come reverse, you know? And when I have one of the hands you've had against me and you have one of the hands against me, we're gonna see how
Raise to 44.
Under the gun, I don't. It's four-handed. You know, if you haven't been active, be active. You're gonna win uncontested. You know, the lion's share of the time. But Helmuth snap calls because he does have the snap call kind of hand.
I'm not gonna check in the dark though.
Good.
Yeah.
I might just fire out one time, you know what I mean?
King 6 of diamonds. And 5. See, it hits his range. When you make a bluff with Queen 5 or, you know, you try and get it, and all of a sudden, and now he'll check again because he's picked something up, but that range, 9 through Queen, is dangerous.
I better bet big, really big here. I better bet 70,000.
That's a big bet. That is a big bet. He's trying to get like a random 9, 10 or something to fall. The problem is, if there is a problem, is that Negreanu knows what big bets mean. It means weak or... I mean,
Like
look at
protecting
that. How
yeah.
much does he know what big bets mean? Wow. So sick. That was a cold,
body language.
stone cold call.
Check.
Check.
And
Check.
Helmet is going to freak.
King high.
He's gonna freak. This coupled with the other
He's
hand.
gonna
freak.
Called 70 dimes. Queen 5.
Explosion coming.
Oh, it's so good against me, it's crazy. It doesn't matter though. Just one mistake is all I need. One Queen 5 to be in bad shape for about 200.
Daniel's happier than he really is.
It's one hand against Daniel. For God's sakes. He's out there with these freaking weird hands and I can't beat him. It's ridiculous. I know it's coming, I just, the blinds are getting high.
Yeah, it's gotta happen soon, right?
Yeah. It's gotta happen
You
soon.
run out of time.
That's alright, I like limp with ace king and it'll just ship like quickly with like king jack here or something weird.
King Jack, yep, that's right. And then hope to
Maybe
spike a
that'll
Jack.
That's okay. I don't mind, I really don't mind. I just want to be a big favorite.
Fold.
I might be frustrated, but I am dangerous. Dangerous.
Are they getting it on here? Jonathan folded 5 rag. Daniel folded Queen 6.
I just want to bet 30 in the dark. I'm so steamed up. Check.
Wow, this is a pretty big hand for, I mean, to flop a straight draw. Oh, now he has a straight. He doesn't want the flush out there.
Bet 30.
Negreanu's got a straight flush draw. It's so crazy.
He's thinking, oh, if I
Two
could
outs.
only be up against the ace of spades here.
I think he's gonna call 30 and try and shut him.
30.
Is Helmuth gonna
They're
bounce out of his seat when the spade hits?
Yep. How did it just come?
Check.
Check.
It's gonna. You think he's value betting this?
He's just betting because it's Helmuth.
And he knows that he's got the best hand and it looks like it could be a higher spade for sure.
Oh. Flush. Straight flush draw. Yeah, I know it's funny. I know you have no clue where you are on these things. No, it's real funny. But I played it perfect. You played it great. Perfect. And spade, you guys drawing dead every pot we play our whole life. Daniel's drawing dead. And hits and hits and hits. Oh, I think I'll call you with the 5. I think I'll play this hand, that hand. Oh, 7s, I'm all in. Oh, I was a favorite in the last 8 hands I played. Yeah, you put all your money in with like 7s and 8s and hands. Ridiculously lucky to be a small favorite in all those pots. I gotta listen to this and take it all the time. And then he has to suck out on me.
You know you can get abs from laughing?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is really good stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, forget doing like crunches.
Well, I was a favorite in the last 8 pots I played. I put my money in every time I have 7s.
So funny.
Phil Hellmuth starts his hand. He raises to 3,500 with ace-4 offsuit.
Ambitious raise with an ace-4 offsuit.
Let's do the 7.
And Daniel Negreanu with an ace-10 offsuit doubles it. Makes it 7,000.
Jerry, why you bugging?
You might have jacks, so I just call.
Jacks?
Jack.
Tens? Claiming tens? Is
I
that what you're
check.
claiming?
I check. That's
I'll bet
all I can tell
10,000.
you. I
Phil
check.
Hellmuth calls.
I bet 10,000. I already said it.
And
Promise.
Daniel said he bet 10,000 before the flop came down.
Wow.
Phil checked. Daniel said I bet 10,000, and he put the 10,000 in, and he's flopped top 2 pair.
Jeez.
Boy, that's pretty sweet. And Phil's got aces.
This could set Phil off.
And Phil cannot get away from his aces.
I check.
So Negreanu already bet 10 grand, and Hellmuth calls. Turn cards a deuce of clubs.
Phil is checked.
And Negreanu bets 25 grand.
25, though.
And I think Daniel has a pretty good feel of where Phil is at in this hand, and Phil has no idea where Daniel's at.
Yeah.
It's worth the $100 ante just for me to watch you guys play. Get an intimate seat. It's like sitting in the front row of the Lakers, right? Those seats cost $2,000. This one could cost
Those front row
more.
seats cost, how much Jack's seat cost?
$2,000.
Each game? How many games?
No, for the season, Sean.
Sean's obviously not a hoop fan.
Quiet from people who already know it?
Yeah, but they charge, when it comes playoffs and good games, they charge $10,000 a seat.
25. Why so much, Daniel?
Now, what Phil's got to decide here is, did Daniel say 10,000 before the flop, flop nothing,
Let's go, Todd. Let me know when you want to
bluff on the flop, and now continue to bluff on the turn?
Jeez.
I've been there on the phone. The box is a different story. I've never been to a game, let alone a box, but
It's fun. So many pretty scary dogs.
No professional poker player wants to be bluffed on television.
nothing else really.
I really believe if this hand were not on television, Phil would throw it away.
All right, Daniel, you bet.
That's a long time ago.
I think you have points.
Hellmuth calls.
Not only does he call, but he
Plus I'm
tells
assuming.
Daniel basically where he's at, that he's got a weak ace.
Rivers a 7 of clubs.
Phil gave away his hand. Now he checks. He's already told Daniel that he's got aces.
No, stop at 10. Stop at 10.
Daniel is just about as comfortable as he can be.
Yeah.
Just figuring out what the right amount to bet here is. What would Phil possibly call?
40.
And Negreanu feels the right amount's $40,000. Now the pot's over 125 grand.
Phil did not want to see that. Is Mr. Daniel Negreanu bluffing all the way in this hand? I think Phil realizes that Daniel would not bet if he had jacks or queens right now. So Daniel's either bluffing or Daniel's got him.
Hellmuth calls.
Sees the bad news.
Yep. And Negreanu takes a big bite of the Phil Hellmuth's wallet. He rakes in $165,700.
Phil looked a little silly in that hand, and we might have ignition here.
Yeah.
These people like it's musical.
I actually do a better Phil Hellmuth impression. I'll save that for later in the series. But the action does start on Phil. King 10 offsuit. Raises to 800.
I'm out of here.
Loose cannon
Oh,
folds.
he just made it 8?
What is Daniel looking at? 6 deuce suited?
This isn't all that uncommon of a hand for Daniel to limp in with. There has been a raise already.
How about a re-raise to 3,600?
Forget the loose cannon. Daniel's now trying to isolate Phil Hellmuth.
Doyle pocket jacks.
Don't think he was counting on Doyle waking up with such a big hand.
Who lost the last pot?
Now, Doyle would typically be the one to 3-bet in this spot with 2 jacks, but since Daniel did it for him, he just calls.
That gets Phil Lock Antoni G out of the hand, and now action back on Hellmuth. Makes the call.
Daniel's repping a big hand before the flop. Let's see if Doyle coming along for the ride causes him to change his game plan at all.
So 3 players to the flop. 5-7 queen. It misses everyone. Hellmuth checks.
That's right, so that means Doyle's still in the lead with 2 jacks.
Negreanu checks.
Now, you expect Daniel to try to continue his pre-flop ruse, but I think Doyle's presence in the hand has thrown him off a bit.
It checked around. A 4 of spades on the turn. No help to anyone.
Daniel has picked up a draw now. He has an up and down straight draw.
Phil Hellmuth chips in hand.
Finally feels like it's safe to maybe take a stab here.
Bet 7,000.
Well, Phil doesn't have anything. He's now leading out into a guy who 3-bet and another guy who called a 3-bet. So this bluff from Hellmuth actually carries a lot of weight. It's not just a snap call for Daniel with an open-ended straight draw.
Daniel does make the call.
Now with Daniel and Phil raising and re-raising and betting into each other, it's going to be very tough for Doyle to know he has the best hand.
Gets rid of the best hand. So it's Daniel and Hellmuth off to the river, which is a deuce of spades. Daniel hits bottom pair.
Not only bottom pair for the board, bottom pair for the entire deck. Hellmuth has nothing, but he can still maybe win this pot with the right size bet.
Didn't Daniel say bluffs are good for the game a little earlier?
Only if you show him.
6,000.
Bet of 6,000 by Phil Hellmuth.
This is a very small bet compared to the size of the rest of the pot. It's also smaller than the bet he just made on the turn. Let's see if Daniel can figure it out.
Just don't reach for a bunch of those great chips. Why? You might just shove it on me?
Phil insinuating he'll make a snap call. That orange chip is 25K. A lot of power in that little stack.
Negreanu makes it 46,000.
Daniel's correctly read Phil is weak and stuck in a huge bet with only a pair of deuces.
Speech time. It's gotta come.
He might have like 6-9 offsuit. It's Daniel. Good bet.
And Phil lays it down.
Finally got there. Took a while, but I had you.
He nailed it. Look at that. That's sick. That's not gonna look good on TV. Yeah, whatever that is, it's not gonna look good. That's gonna be bad for a profile, unfortunately.
Little do they know, Daniel did have the best hand.
I play so bad. I know Daniel's playing the rush and he's going to re-raise.
Yes, that was what I was doing.
I knew
The analysis post-flop is not the time to get it right. You
didn't
want
have
to
a
get it during the hand. You didn't have a pair? You couldn't call?
5, 4.
Imagine you made like a call with 2 3s.
Huh?
What are you doing betting 6,000?
That's
I
what
mean,
I'm supposed to pick off all the chips from him. When
You bet
when
6,000?
he starts messing with me.
That's
and
if you have a like.
You got Dole smiling, and he's stuck 100,000. That's hard to do. Today and then 8 tomorrow.
Dario's going to be in the big blind here. Angel Shlomi raising under the gun with kings.
Shlomi has a big one, and he's not playing around. He almost makes it 5 times the big blind.
Bonyardi with sixes will call. Negreanu on the button has 10-9 of diamonds.
Negreanu's loving life right now on the button with this hand. He's really thinking about it. He's confused with this 5x open out of Shlomi.
But he makes the call. Both blinds will fold, so 3 players will see a flop. No 6 for Bonyardi, but a 9 high flop could get Daniel in trouble here.
Daniel looked a big speculative pre-flop, and now he's picked up top pair. He might get in trouble.
Shlomi continues. He's made it 15-25. It's a pot-sized bet.
No slow playing for Shlomi. 5x pre-flop, pot on the flop. Daniel's still not convinced. He wants to call.
But should he call?
Daniel has a tough time folding pairs, and this is top pair. He should probably fold, but I don't see it happening.
He does make the call.
A big pot is brewing.
No real threat out there to Shlomi's kings.
Shlomi can't be too concerned about this turn card.
21-25.
This time he decides to make it a little bit cheaper for Negreanu. He went full pot on the flop, right around half pot on the turn.
Surely this is where Daniel lets it go.
Daniel is trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And he makes the call. He's not entirely convinced yet. Again, this river really doesn't change much. The only hand this helps is 6-7 or 8-9. And Shlomi only fires out a 3rd pot on this river. He gives Negreanu a fair price to make this call. He's getting 4-1 on his money.
Well, let's see if Daniel can get away from this.
Daniel is determined. Angel small river bet is a value hand that Kid Poker can't beat. Although it's hard for him to rep a hand, he's bumping it up.
You got aces or kings? Can I say that, or is that illegal? Heads up. I can say what he has, but not what I have. Okay. I'm thinking aces or kings.
You think right.
Daniel really pulled the trigger correctly on that one.
And Shlomi's now thinking, if you've read me for aces or kings, surely you can beat aces or kings. I have to fold.
If I show one, do I have to show all? Okay. Okay. I can show one? I can show one if I want to? I don't feel like it. Never mind. I don't have a good one to show.
Great start for Daniel. Almost a double float there, and then a bluff on the river, which got the job done.
Negreanu wasted no time pulling out the tricks from his playbook.
Negreanu has ace deuce here on the button. And he just calls, he doesn't raise.
Daniel wants to play in position, but also keep the pot small and avoid getting 3-bet.
Kachalov will make the call from the small blind. Shulman can see a free flop if he so wishes. And he will check from the big blind.
King 9 suited is a hand that Eugene may have 3-bet with had Daniel raised.
Queen 4-4. No one really catches anything. Negreanu's ace high still good. Kachalov checks.
Shulman's likely to end up playing the board.
He checks as well. Actions on Daniel.
And he checks as well.
Still keeping the pot small.
Turn card for free then. It gives both Shulman and Negreanu straight draws, plus Shulman has a flush draw.
A bad flush draw.
It's not going to stop him betting though.
A bet on the flop may have been enough to take this down, but this board is full of draws at this point, including Daniel's gut shot.
So he'll call that bet of 75,000. Kachalov gets out of the way with his king nine.
It's a pretty interesting call from Daniel. Not sure if he's got some sort of read or what.
Well, the 8 sees both players brick on the river. Shulman representing with a bet of 155,000.
It's his only shot of winning this hand. Nick straight bluffing with the second nut low. Daniel only has a bad ace, yet it looks like he's contemplating this call, which would be pretty insane. Then again, it's also insane to try to bluff Daniel on TV.
He's made the call.
Daniel makes more calls than a telemarketer, but in this case, he looks like a genius.
Ace high's good.
Nice call.
Sick call.
And in fewer than 50 hands, Shulman has gone from the chip leader to the short stack of this final table, while Negreanu continues his march to victory and into the poker record books.
Things got a little hot last hand between Tony G and Andrew Roble.
Hopefully more of that rant will be on the website.
Roble raising ace-jack to 2,500.
One card is possible. You could...
Jack 5 for Tony. Folds. Lex is out. 6 tray suited. Good enough to call for Daniel. Queen Jack for Alan Barry, who folds.
It's a little tight, but he is dominated.
And Reynolds folds.
Also tight. Both guys were out of position to the razor.
I'm very unhappy right now. I'm not going to be able to sleep until after this episode comes out.
Check.
Negreanu checks a flush draw following the flop.
And I guess that is an achievement.
Roble bets 4,000 with top pair.
He's making Daniel pay to draw.
And Daniel will.
Daniel trying to chase that spade.
The turn, the 10 of diamonds. Roble picks up a straight draw.
Daniel misses.
Action on Negreanu.
Looks like we're going to see a semi-bluff.
That's 8,500.
This is a donk bet bluff. He knows Roble is tight, and Andrew knows Daniel is loose, so top pair, decent kicker, and a gut shot might all just be too much to get away from for Andrew.
Roble calls.
We all know Roble's tight rep. Daniel can't like that call unless he sees a spade.
Which he doesn't. 10 of hearts on the river.
Daniel's got air, but if he wants to win this pot, he's going to have to use that air to blow Andrew off his hand.
Action on Negreanu. That's 18-5.
3-10s is a tough bluff to pull off, so Daniel is most likely trying to rep a big ace or maybe a straight. His bet is designed to bluff Roble off a king, maybe. I don't think Daniel thinks he could get Roble to fold a big ace, though.
I was so crushed after that final. I could cry.
I'm going to walk out. If these guys are going to come here, waste my time, I'm going to walk out of the game. It's a joke. F***ing hell, he's thinking 20 minutes every f***ing hand he's playing. F***ing nit.
Here comes floorman Tom Keene, who's received more airtime than Hoyt Corkins, who went broke in 8 hands in the big game.
All right, Andrew, we're going to go through the same thing.
You play online.